Hello, and welcome back to Weekend Cartoon Reviews. This time, we're reviewing Jinsei. I don't know if I butchered that name correctly, but, you know, usually right around this part I mention the studio and their works, but no, it wasn't made by a studio at all, actually. Instead, it was made by Ryuya Suzuki, who wrote, directed, edited, and hand drew the entire movie from scratch. That in itself is already an impressive feat, and not one you usually see in movies. Honestly, when I saw the trailer, I thought it was a little crudely animated, but the story had me intrigued to see what the movie was gonna be like. I can't say too much on this segment of the video because, well, it's not based on anything. It's completely original and made by one guy. I don't know how else to introduce a movie like this because it's rare for them to come by. Did I mention that this was completed in 18 months? Now, guess we can skip to what I really thought of the film, right? Wow. I just gotta say, man, that was a very personal movie, and you can tell. Yeah, easily, this is one of my favorites of the year. No questions asked. The movie doesn't even have a plot in the traditional sense. The movie's title is literally Jinsei, which makes a lot of sense, because it literally just means life, and that's what this movie is. It spans across centuries of the protagonist, who's nameless, and his life. The movie made me cry within the first 5 minutes of the damn thing, and that's not even a joke. The world is brutal to this man throughout the whole movie, and he cannot catch a break. But again, that's life. As I said, the animation is a little crude, but I can excuse it because this is Ryuya Suzuki's first movie, ever. It was noticeable in some areas, and other times the style only added to the movie's themes, in my opinion. Sometimes it's moving at a frame per second, but I didn't mind it too much. Even if the animation is probably the worst part of the film, worst in quotation marks, actually. It's not the worst animated thing ever, I tolerated it enough. But honestly, it kind of also made the movie a lot more impactful, oddly enough. It gave it an identity, I could say that. The film was pretty silent, all things considered. The voice acting appeared good, but it was mostly a movie that you could remove the dialogue from, in my opinion, and I'd understand everything that's going on. The soundtrack is very grim, all throughout each stage of the protagonist's life. The tune changes depending on the situation he's in, and it adds a lot more to the film than there already was. It's because of the soundtrack where my heart was racing the entire movie. You didn't know what was going to happen next, and you're hopeful this guy will have a happy ending, but I won't say anything else in that regard. You know, though, I might be the only one in this camp for Jinsei, because I've noticed mixed responses across the board for the movie. Yeah, I get it. They're cramming a guy's entire life into a 90-minute long film. It's a very experimental movie, all things considered, and I don't think anyone's ever attempted something like this on this scale. I'm probably wrong on that, since biopics exist still. I don't watch biopics often. Piece by Piece may have been the only one I've watched, but I wouldn't call this a biopic either. I was, though, under the impression at first that this was the author's life showcased in one, but after watching it, I realized how little sense that made because of the film's ending. Overall, I recommend watching Jinsei. I want to get more films like this released, in the sense of someone taking this little time to make a movie, and it turning out this phenomenal. I mean, Mappa did it with Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Look how that turned out. But I'm talking about independent people writing, directing, and animating the entire thing. That's kind of what I'm doing for Object Breakout right now, except I got help in that regard. That's all for now. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.